There are massive rocks that have been teetering for thousands of years, yet never fall. There are places where entire landscapes are filled with stone pillars, as if born from another world. Think you've seen all the Earth's strange wonders? Think again. In this video, World Mystery Wonders invites you to discover the 15 most extraordinary rock formations on the planet, where nature becomes the greatest artist, sculpting not only breathtaking shapes, but also stories far beyond imagination. Get ready, because what you're about to witness will leave you unable to look away. Let's begin. Lena Pillars, the legendary stone sentinels of Siberia. Along the icy banks of the Lena River in Siberia rise towering stone columns, standing like ancient guardians carved by time itself. This is Lena Pillars, a natural wonder so surreal, it feels like the gateway to a mythical world made of rock. Geologists believe these formations date back to the early Cambrian period, over 540 million years ago, when life on Earth was just beginning to evolve in primitive oceans. Composed of limestone, dolomite, and shale, these rocks were sculpted vertically over millions of years by the combined forces of wind, frost, and glacial meltwaters, forming stone pillars towering up to 100 to 300 meters high. In winter, the scene turns almost otherworldly, as snow blankets the formations and the pale Arctic sun casts soft shadows, transforming the area into a frozen cathedral of stone and silence. In summer, under the northern lights, the rocks glow with golden and amber hues, a living painting born from deep time. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2012, Lena Pillars is not just a geological marvel. It's a library of Earth's early life, preserving fossils of ancient organisms that once swam through primordial seas. A place where time is etched in stone, waiting to be read by those who dare to journey this far. White Desert, a surreal world of white stone in the heart of Egypt. Located about 500 kilometers southwest of Cairo, the White Desert was once the floor of an ancient sea, rich in limestone and marine deposits. As the waters receded and the climate turned arid, wind and sand took over, carving the limestone into bizarre, otherworldly shapes. Some resembled giant mushrooms, others looked like chickens, rabbits, or even cauliflower frozen in stone. In the daylight, the landscape glows in a brilliant white, while at sunset, the formations blush with hues of pink, orange, and gold. Many travelers choose to camp overnight among the rock sculptures, where under the moonlight, the scene turns so dreamlike, it feels as though you're sleeping on the surface of the moon. Today, the White Desert is a protected national park, valued not only for its geological significance, but also as one of the most breathtakingly unique places to witness nature's creativity in its purest, most unspoiled form. Halong Bay, nature's living watercolor painting. Nestled along the northeastern coast of Vietnam, Halong Bay emerges like a breathtaking watercolor masterpiece, where ancient limestone mountains rise from emerald waters, winding like a mythical dragon across the sea. With more than 1,600 islands and islets, each shaped by nature's whim, some resemble turtles, others lion heads, sails, or even sleeping giants. According to geologists, Halong Bay was formed over 280 million years through tectonic movements and long-term erosion. Rain, wind, and the ocean slowly carved the ancient limestone into towering cliffs, mysterious caves, and hidden lagoons inside the islands. Beyond its natural splendor, Halong Bay is also a cradle of early Vietnamese culture, with archaeological evidence of ancient human settlements dating back thousands of years. And if you've ever sailed quietly through the misty bay at sunrise, you'll understand why UNESCO declared it a World Natural Heritage Site, a wonder not just to behold, but to feel with every sense. Alula, the ancient stone city of the Arabian Desert. In the heart of the arid northwestern desert of Saudi Arabia, Alula rises like a forgotten world, a surreal landscape of towering rock formations sculpted by time, surrounded by the remains of an ancient civilization that once thrived in this harsh terrain. Geologically, Alula dates back more than 500 million years, dominated by sandstone cliffs and monoliths that have been sculpted by wind and sand erosion into arches, columns, and towering pillars with fantastical shapes. Among the most iconic is Elephant Rock, a massive stone resembling an elephant gently bowing its head beneath the desert sky. But Alula is not only a natural wonder, it is also home to the ruins of the Nabatean kingdom, contemporaries of Petra in Jordan. Dozens of tombs carved directly into cliffs, ancient inscriptions, and the remnants of old incense trade routes remain remarkably intact, whispering stories from over 2,000 years ago. Today, Alula has become a premier heritage and ecotourism destination, where visitors can hike through red sandstone canyons, stargaze under pristine desert skies, and witness the rare harmony between eternal nature and ancient human ingenuity. Druid's Altar, the stone table of time in the hills of Yorkshire. Nestled among the rolling green hills of West Yorkshire lies a mysterious cluster of massive sandstone blocks, stacked like a giant altar. This is the Druid's Altar, a place that seems to pause time, inviting visitors to wonder what stories these stones might tell. The name comes from local legend. People once believed this was a sacred site, used by ancient Celtic Druids for nature rituals and sacrifices. While there's no archaeological evidence to confirm these myths, the formation's awe-inspiring shape and isolation have fueled such stories for generations. Geologically, the rocks belong to the Millstone Grit Formation, laid down around 300 million years ago when Yorkshire was a vast coastal plain. Over eons, erosion and weathering carved the thick sandstone into sharp-edged, stacked blocks, forming what looks remarkably like a man-made altar, yet sculpted entirely by nature. Today, Druid's Altar is not just a place of legend, but a beloved destination for hikers, photographers, and nature lovers. Sitting atop the stones, overlooking the Aire Valley below, one can't help but feel a sense of timelessness, as if the land itself is holding its breath and waiting for its next story to unfold. White Pocket, a swirling stone maze from another planet. Tucked away in the remote desert of Vermilion Cliffs National Monument, White Pocket emerges like a dream in stone, a surreal landscape of swirling patterns and fiery waves of color, painted in white, red, pink, and orange. Standing here, it feels like you've stepped onto another planet. White Pocket is formed from ancient Navajo sandstone, laid down around 190 million years ago, when the area was once covered in massive sand dunes. Over millions of years, geologic forces compressed, twisted, and folded these layers, turning them to stone. Then wind, rain, and scorching desert sun slowly eroded the surface, revealing the extraordinary sculpted patterns we see today. Unlike nearby the Wave, White Pocket requires no permit, but it's incredibly remote and only accessible by high-clearance four-wheel drive vehicles. This isolation has helped preserve its raw, untouched beauty, far from the crowds. At sunrise or sunset, as light dances across the twisted formations, White Pocket becomes a dream for photographers, where every angle reveals a masterpiece carved by nature, both unreal and astonishingly real. Incredible, isn't it? Every swirl and ripple in the rocks of White Pocket seems to tell the story of Earth's restless movement over millions of years. Standing in this surreal landscape, you might feel as though you've stepped onto another planet. But don't look away just yet. The wonders coming up next will leave you even more amazed. Mono Lake, a salt lake of stone towers and timeless mystery. On the edge of California's arid high desert lies a surreal sight. A vast, salty lake scattered with towering limestone formations that rise from the water like the ruins of a sunken city. This is Mono Lake, one of the oldest lakes in North America, where time and chemistry have sculpted a landscape almost too strange to believe. Formed over 760,000 years ago after a massive volcanic eruption, Mono Lake has no outlet. Water only leaves through evaporation. As a result, the lake's salinity is 3 times that of the ocean. But its most striking feature is the tufa towers, limestone spires formed when underground springs rich in calcium met the carbonate-filled lake water, triggering a reaction that created calcium carbonate, limestone, which slowly built up into towers beneath the surface. When water from the lake was diverted in the 20th century to supply Los Angeles, the water level dropped, revealing these once hidden towers in full. Some stand over 30 feet tall, their twisted shapes looking like natural sculptures from another world. Despite its extreme conditions, Mono Lake is a thriving ecosystem, home to millions of migratory birds, supported by tiny brine shrimp and alkali flies that somehow flourish in the lake's salty, alkaline waters. Bryce Canyon, the stone cathedral carved by nature. Despite its name, Bryce Canyon isn't a true canyon, but rather the eroded edge of a vast plateau, a place where nature has sculpted thousands of towering stone spires called hoodoos, creating a landscape that looks like a cathedral carved in shades of red rock. These hoodoos, formed from layers of sandstone and mud, deposited 30 to 60 million years ago, later uplifted along with the Colorado Plateau. Unlike most canyons shaped by flowing water, Bryce was carved through freeze-thaw erosion, where water seeps into cracks, freezes, expands, and slowly breaks the rock apart, repeating over 200 days a year. The result is a surreal forest of stone, where no 2 hoodoos are alike. At sunrise, the canyon glows in shades of crimson, orange, and pink, while in winter, snow caps each column, creating stunning contrasts between icy whites and fiery reds. Bryce is also known for having one of the clearest night skies in North America, attracting stargazers and astrophotographers from around the world. And for those who rise early, sunrise at Bryce Canyon is a once-in-a-lifetime sight, as if the entire valley is igniting in slow motion. Brimham Rocks, nature's sculpture garden in the English countryside. Set amidst the tranquil landscapes of North Yorkshire, Brimham Rocks rises like a giant stone playground, where every rock formation takes on a different shape. One resembles a whale, another a balancing dancer, and yet another like a pair of hands about to meet. No 2 formations are alike, yet all are carved by the hand of nature. Geologists believe these rocks are composed of millstone grit sandstone, laid down by ancient rivers over 320 million years ago. Over the ages, wind, rain, frost, and flowing water wore away the softer layers unevenly, sculpting the stones into surreal shapes that ignite the imagination. In the 18th century, people believed the rocks were the work of witches or ancient druids. Today, Brimham Rocks is one of England's top outdoor climbing spots, and a favorite for photographers and nature lovers who marvel at the creativity of natural forces. At sunset, as the light casts long shadows across the grass, the scene becomes both dreamlike and timeless, as if you've wandered into a storybook world where nature was given free rein to create without rules. Wahweap hoodoos, giant stone mushrooms in Utah's desert. Hidden deep in the arid deserts of southern Utah, the Wahweap hoodoos rise like giant stone mushrooms, their smooth white stems topped with flat brown caps that look almost alien. The landscape feels otherworldly, silent, surreal, and sculpted by time itself. Geologists believe these formations date back to the Jurassic period, around 160 million years ago, formed from ancient riverbeds and floodplains of the Morrison Formation. Over millions of years, differential erosion between soft sandstone below and harder rock above carved these delicate towers, leaving their capstones balancing like umbrellas against gravity. Unlike the fiery red hoodoos of Bryce Canyon, Wahweap's hoodoos are a creamy white, glowing in the sunlight by day and shifting to silvery hues at dusk. The contrast between their color and the surrounding red desert creates a scene so striking, it feels like stepping onto another planet. Reaching them isn't easy. Visitors must hike over 8 kilometers, 5 miles, through the dry Wahweap Creek to reach the site. But the reward is solitude and stillness, and the chance to witness a fragile harmony between rock, time, and raw nature. To protect these rare formations, motorized access is restricted, and visitors are strongly advised not to touch the hoodoos, as even a gentle nudge can damage structures that took millions of years to form. Goblin Valley, a playground of stone goblins in Utah's desert. If you've ever imagined a land where stone creatures from fairy tales stand frozen in time, Goblin Valley brings that vision to life. Tucked away in the remote deserts of Utah, this surreal landscape is filled with thousands of bizarre rock formations that resemble goblins gathering for a meeting under the desert sun. Geologists have traced these formations back to the Entrada sandstone, deposited over 170 million years ago, when the region was once a shallow sea and coastal plain. Over time, wind, water, and slightly acidic rain carved away at the softer rock layers, leaving behind short, rounded hoodoos with capstones on top, creating stone figures with whimsical, sometimes eerie expressions. What makes Goblin Valley unique is that no two formations are alike. Each goblin has its own personality, making it feel like you've stepped into a scene from a science fiction movie, which is why it was used as a filming location for the cult classic Galaxy Quest. Unlike many national parks, Goblin Valley allows visitors to freely explore, wander among the rock formations, and even climb the smaller ones, as long as the landscape is respected. Walking through this army of stone goblins at sunset is an experience that's funny, magical, and strangely meditative. A reminder that nature has a playful side too. Three Sisters, the legendary stone sentinels of Australia's Blue Mountains. Standing tall on the edge of the majestic Jameson Valley, the Three Sisters are towering sandstone pillars that rise through the mist, like ancient guardians of the Blue Mountains. But beyond their stunning presence lies both a timeless legend and a geological story, millions of years in the making. According to the indigenous Gundungurra people, the rocks represent three sisters turned to stone by a tribal elder using magic to protect them from danger during tribal conflict. Tragically, he died before reversing the spell, and the sisters remain stone to this day, a poignant reminder of sacrifice and protection. Geologically, the Three Sisters are made of Blue Mountain sandstone, dating back about 200 million years, when the region was once part of a vast seabed. Over time, erosion from wind, rain, and rivers carved away the surrounding cliffs, leaving behind these dramatic spires. Each sister rises between 300 to 900 meters above sea level. Today, the Three Sisters are a symbol of Australian heritage and natural beauty, attracting millions of visitors annually. With walking trails, the Echo Point Lookout, and the Skyway cable car, travelers can view the formation from all angles. But no matter where you stand, there's something deeply moving about them, as if the land itself is keeping watch through these three eternal souls of stone. Bentonite Hills, Rainbow Ridges in Utah's Painted Desert. Hidden in the arid heartland near Capitol Reef National Park lies one of Utah's most surreal and colorful landscapes, the Bentonite Hills. These softly rolling mounds stretch across the desert like frozen waves, cloaked in layers of gray, wine red, lavender, soft pink, and pale blue, as if nature had spilled an artist's palette across the earth. According to geologists, the hills are made of bentonite clay, formed from ancient volcanic ash deposits dating back 150 to 200 million years. Bentonite is highly absorbent and extremely prone to erosion when dried, creating the rippling, almost fluid surface texture seen today. The vivid colors come from varying mineral content in the ash, making each hill uniquely painted by time. Because there are no official signs or paved access, the area is often overlooked by casual tourists. But for photographers, hikers, and those seeking unspoiled nature, Bentonite Hills are a hidden gem waiting to be explored. At sunset or after rainfall, the softened light and rising mist cause the entire landscape to glow like a scene from another planet. Standing there, surrounded by silent hills in hues too vivid to be real, you may feel as though you've stepped beyond Earth and into a dream painted by nature itself. Al-Nasla Rock, the perfectly split stone in the Saudi desert. Amid the blazing golden sands of Taima in Saudi Arabia stands a massive granite boulder that looks as though it was precisely sliced in two by a laser beam. This is Al-Nasla Rock, a natural wonder that has baffled geologists and intrigued travelers from around the world. The rock stands nearly 6 meters tall and is split perfectly down the middle by a razor-thin vertical crack. Light passes cleanly through the narrow gap, and yet both halves remain perfectly upright, seemingly defying gravity as they balance on small contact points at the base. According to geologists, Al-Nasla is the result of natural weathering and fracturing in granite, possibly caused by extreme temperature fluctuations in the desert. These shifts may have caused the rock to expand and contract abruptly, producing a vertical split. Another theory suggests that it could be an ancient fault line, which was later eroded by wind and sand over thousands of years, carving out the astonishingly clean cut we see today. Adding to its mystery, one face of the rock bears petroglyphs attributed to the Thamudic people, an ancient civilization that once inhabited the Arabian Peninsula more than 3,000 years ago. Today, Al-Nasla Rock has become a symbol of Taima's natural and historical wonders, drawing scientists, photographers, and curious visitors eager to witness one of Earth's most extraordinary and unexplained rock formations. Split Apple Rock, the giant apple sliced by nature in New Zealand. Amid the emerald waters of Tasman Bay, a massive boulder shaped like a perfectly halved apple rises from the sea, as if a giant had just sliced it with a blade of lightning. This is Split Apple Rock, a natural wonder that never fails to leave visitors stunned at first sight. Formed from ancient granite over 120 million years ago, geologists explain that the clean split down the middle was caused by water seeping into a natural crack, which then froze during cold weather. The expanding ice gradually forced the rock apart, a process of slow, dramatic artistry sculpted by nature itself. But the local Maori have a different story. Legend says two gods were fighting over a sacred boulder, and in a burst of divine fury, they split it clean in half, leaving behind this iconic symbol of power and myth. Split Apple Rock is located close to shore and is best accessed by kayak, especially during low tide. With its stunning symmetry and peaceful surroundings, it's the perfect spot for photos, quiet reflection, and witnessing a truly surreal creation of the Earth. A moment of nature frozen in time. Our journey through the 15 most extraordinary rock formations on Earth ends here, but the planet's wonders are far from over. If you found this video worthy, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to World Mystery Wonders to keep exploring nature's greatest mysteries. See you in the next video.